So, Jai Mcintosh, where do we find you at this time?
I'm sat in my office in my apartment at the moment, ready to hopefully move out soon. Looking at houses, it's exciting times. Uh, I'm very happy that Rudiger's got a second Champions League. That sort of puts him up there a bit more. So that's nice to see. I enjoy watching Kante back for France. Um, that's pretty exciting. And apparently there are some things going on at Chelsea, but I don't know about any of them personally. I'm not sure. No, I'm joking, but yeah, it's weird what's going on at Chelsea. You might as well get straight into it. I don't really know where to start. What about you?
The last time we spoke, I think, was before Christmas, wasn't it? So
Hmm.
that was like a difficult time for Pochettino. I believe we'd had some bad losses at the time, and people had already started to turn on him. And obviously, a lot has changed since then, as it always does. And of course, the season ended. We finished well. Then, of course, now we're in a situation where we've got another new head coach again. I mean, I don't know, maybe just your kind of feelings on how the season went. Like, did you first? What was your reaction to Pochettino leaving? I think is the easiest place to start.
I was a bit surprised to be honest. I would have kept him because not just because the season ended well, but I think it, what's the point in just giving him one season? That kind of defeats the entire premise of the idea in the first place, really. Um, I think people are very easily forgetting how terrible it was at points, and Chelsea relied on the fact basically two things, which was Cole Palmer and United being stinky because of injuries, and Newcastle being sort of in the same boat. And even then, United won the FA Cup, so it kind of takes things down a notch anyway. I, given that we know it was a mutual decision, I don't think Potter was particularly keen on being there. He seemed to not uh, be able to align his thinking, his philosophy with the ownership, and that's he's not the first manager to have that complaint. Actually, all of them have. Um, the things are still a real mess at Chelsea, and the squad's still in such a strange place, despite finishing well. You would have thought that actually keeping Poch and seeing the relationship he has with the players and things slowly getting pieced together and players finally coming into a bit of form and there were positive intentions going into the preseason, the hope that okay, Chelsea look a bit more like a project players can come to, and now Maresca comes in, fine. I don't dislike it fully. I think there are worse places to go. I think there are certainly maybe better places to go, but I understand what he tries to do. I do think it's going to frustrate the life out of Chelsea fans eventually.
I don't think he's going to be like Pochettino wasn't. Chelsea don't fans don't. So, firstly, here's the first point: Chelsea fans don't give patience. Second point: Pochettino didn't get much patience, but even in some capacity, people were like, okay, like next season, let's get back into the Champions League. The idea of now Maresca is going to be given needs to be given patience. Whether you think whether that's fair or wrong, if you take out the Chelsea culture of things of short termism, that for me, like that is the reality. Like I now am looking at this season as it needs to be a progression from last season. And if we sit sixth at the end of next season, I'm going to be sat here and going, well, no, we just haven't progressed at all.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said that if Maresca's driving the car and he starts, encountering speed bumps, people are going to get out of the car. And do you know what made me laugh a lot? The um the fact that with his 5 year deal, there's a plus 1 year option, as though that's at all attainable at Chelsea, as if a manager's going to be here for 6 years.
And that was the one that convinced him to sign on the deal. Like 5 years, he wasn't so sure, but once they added the extra year, it was like, yeah, mate, now I'm coming.
Genuinely, if anyone listening can tell me if there's anything more unattainable in football than a 5 plus 1 year contract at Chelsea to be fully fulfilled, there's not. It just made me laugh because I thought, why? It's just even if it goes well, it's probably not going to last that long. Something I said, I actually hate to do this name dropping, but it's a relevant point now. Something I said on Sky earlier this week was that. Oh my god, I've completely forgotten. What was I saying? Oh, I know exactly what I was saying. What I was saying was, I think with Maresca, it's a attempt from the ownership and the sporting directors to project that they are here for the long haul. I think it's a longevity play, and as you say, it's the final card that they can play that says we're here for the long haul before everyone goes, this has been long enough because this has been terrible. If I know this is so silly because actually the Maresca is a more advanced coach than him just is, but if Chelsea are going to actually realistically say, okay, this is our guy, we are 100% going to do the Arsenal Arteta thing with him and go through thick and thin and see where we come out on the other side in 5 years. And if it fails, we leave, and if it doesn't, then great, right? Because in 5 years' time, even if Chelsea, kind of do this 8th to 6th stuff for the next 5 years, it's still going to be a massive club, still going to get owners, etc., etc. I don't really know why you wouldn't bring someone in that, I do think about it and I think, okay, it wouldn't work. But if for example, they said, okay, Fabregas can come here and we're just going to back it for 5 seasons, we are actually just going to back it and see how it goes, I reckon 90% of Chelsea fans will be like, yeah, okay. But it's the fact that there's so many people and so many Chelsea fans out there that actually are finding themselves consistently losing, handholds onto the club. That people are finding it harder and harder to connect, and actually you consistently bring in unknowns and question marks at all levels of the club, and it's just bizarre. And that's why at least Pochettino was a known quantity. At least he was, there was something there that says, okay, he's done this, he's done that. Maresca's obviously taken Leicester up. There are some impressive numbers around that Leicester team. Let's not lie; they have been pretty exceptional overall. I'm not surprised they've lost quite a few games too, given 42 games in the season.
But I think you have to take that with a pinch of salt, because if you listen to anyone who covers the Championship, and I've spoken to people over the past year about this, really in regards to financial disparity and the parachute payments that make such a huge difference in the Championship for teams coming down. That's why you see a lot of clubs in recent years yo-yo, because...
But Leeds didn't do it, and Leeds have the biggest.
Yeah, but is it much surprise that the playoff final contained two
no,
teams
of course it's not.
relegated last year, and Leicester also. I think the difference between Leicester, Southampton, and Leeds was that Southampton and Leeds were kind of around that kind of position where they were kind of going to be relegation contenders and had been for a few years. So it wasn't much of a surprise. Leicester was more of a shock that they went down.
Yeah, 100% back then, for sure. Leicester going down.
So they had a higher caliber of player who had played European football, like Patson Daka, for instance. It kind of is a little bit wild that he was playing in the Championship last season.
He stinks.
So you look that they go down with that. James Maddison, sure. But James Maddison would have left, I think, even if they stayed up. He was going to leave.
Definitely.
I don't think that's a good... So, Maresca was blessed by the fact... all I heard for years was that, we can't really take Lampard's first year at Derby that seriously because look at the amount of investment he had. Well, then, double that with Enzo Maresca.
But I think Lampard should have definitely got credit for what he did at Derby.
Yeah, but what I'm saying on that is that, I don't personally think his achievements at Leicester are that phenomenal. I don't think...
In the larger scheme of things, this is what I was saying earlier, that Pochettino is clear because Maresca's just won a championship with a team that's one of 2 teams or 3 really, that you would have expected to win that championship. I'm not saying they've done it amazingly. They actually done it far less nicely than, say, Burnley did under Company. But what I'm saying is there are translatable metrics there that I think will apply to this Chelsea team. And Chelsea aren't going to lose all the time. We are going to absolutely dominate the ball. And genuinely, we do have players, I think, that can be really effective in that way. However, if you are going to bring a young manager in with ideas and philosophy, and I don't know, Fabregas is obviously behind Maresca in terms of where he is as a coach. He's not even the manager; he's the assistant manager because he's doing his badges. But you could have kept Poch for another season or 2 and then been like, right, this is Fabregas' side and this is what Chelsea are going to do, because I really do think Chelsea fans would have bought into that. It's the only, it's actually something that I think more people would buy into than Tuchel, weirdly.